Good afternoon, friends, and welcome. I'll be sharing live trades and results with you. We'll be evaluating how well these trades work out. We'll be benchmarking this against the S&P 500. I'm expecting to be outperforming it every month. Along the way, I'll also be sharing some lessons I've learned about investments, trading, and building wealth. And of course, the mandatory disclaimer. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It should not be interpreted as advice. And with that, let's get into it. All right, today is August 11th. I thought it might be time for a little catch up. The last time we chatted, our last trade took place right over here. But since that time, there's been several new trades, and I'll try and describe them for you. On this particular trade, we went in at the end of the day here, and we got out at the end of the day there. Very mild gain. We did miss a little bit of a gain up here, but we got in and out sort of about the same place. The following day, it had gapped up, but then came back down the next day after that, and we decided to go in. And you can see, as you remember, these kind of show up the next day, but we went in here and came out there. And what we're looking to do is just scalp a little profit because it had been a little choppy up through here. We're just taking little bits of profit where we can get them. The next day it gapped up and the close was here, and we decided to go in. We did pick up a little bit of adjustment in shares, but basically our entry point was here, and we rode this pretty nicely all the way up through this day right there. So the exit actually took place at the close of this particular day. We got out. Next day the market gapped up, bounced around a little bit, but we decided to get back in on a little pullback. And you can see how we rode that up through here. But then there were a couple of big drops, and we got out at the end of the day here. So we did pick up a little bit of a gain. So far, those trades are going. This one's pretty interesting because we're taking an exit. This has been a great place to buy. But as you know, we're always trying to buy a little lower than we've sold. So we missed that. There was a gap up. We were just kind of waiting. And we went in on this particular day because it looked like the market had picked up some momentum. It did go up a little bit, and we scalped a little profit and got out. So that's where we are today. We actually went back in at the end of this day, and we're sitting in a current trade right now as of the 11th. Let's head over to our tracking sheet and see how we're doing. I thought I would start off by showing you a picture of McAfee's Knob. This is close to Roanoke, Virginia. It's one of the highest peaks around. And this is a great shot of a cliff overlooking a valley. I felt like we were so much on a cliff last year, but we have definitely turned the corner here. And let's see how these last set of trades did. The last trade that we did was on, the last trade that we talked about was on the 22nd. So since then, there have been a handful of trades. The first one of these had closed on May 29th. The S&P had picked up a little bit, almost 1%, and we actually had dropped some. So this was not a very good trade for us, but the numbers are pretty small, so we're still feeling okay. On June 13th, the S&P picked up about a little over 1%. We're picking up some very modest gains here, still losing a little bit of ground. You know, as you know, I like to keep an eye on the beat the market factor. So we're falling pretty good through here. But the following trade on 7/16, S&P went up 4, we went up 5. So we're starting to gain a little bit of gain some traction there. Next trade, the market's up 1.32. We're up 1.5, and again some modest gains. So we did lose a little bit from our peak. But a couple noteworthy metrics. These more darker colored lines are showing in the column here where are the peak, where's the highest gains right now. So we're sitting at the highest gain in the market at 8.29. We're sitting at the highest gain for us, which is 29.45. So we're still doing pretty well here. And we like to see those darker colors toward the end of the trading list. You know, we don't want to see them sort of in the beginning or middle. That means we're coming off those peaks. So what do some of our other metrics say that are pretty key? Number of winning trades. We want to see about 70% here, and we're sitting about 62. So we're slightly underperforming on the winning trades, but pretty close to that metric. on the beat the market factor. And what this means is if the market made $1, if this number was 1, the market made $1, our trading made $1. We'd like to see at least 1.5. So if the market's up $1, we're up $1.50. We're actually sitting at a pretty high beat the market factor of 2.55. So we're really looking good there. And then the other metric we would like to take a look at is what is our compounded annual growth rate. So since we've been recording these videos, I've been showing about, now it's 5-year back. And the last 5 years have been pretty good in the market. If you were to buy and hold the S&P 500, you'd be looking at a compounded annual growth rate of about 13.3. Again, that's just a 5-year snapshot. Over time, this number can look a lot different. I would say for planning purposes, I tend to use around 7 or 8% as a compounding annual growth rate as a predictor. But right now the market's been pretty strong the last 5 years or so, and this number is definitely up. But we're sitting on a compounded annual growth rate of 22.8%. Solid. Not quite double, but still pretty solid. And to me, this is why we trade. And if we can do this on a consistent basis, for 5 years, we're seeing an annual growth rate of 22%. That is a really solid performance. So that brings us all up current. The last trade concluded on 8/6. We're sitting in an open trade, as you saw. So hopefully that will end up positive too, and I'll try and bring you an update when that happens. That's it for today. How do you think we're doing? Please comment below and let me know how this compares to other investments you've seen. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only and should not be taken or interpreted as advice. Until next time.